Now at 9, a car overturns in a crash at Truss Bridge in Newton County. Plus, kids in Fort Scott get a chance to get creative in a winter art camp.
A tragic digout in western New York as the death toll climbs in the wake of the weekend's epic winter storm. I'm Alexis McAdams in New York. I'll have details coming up next.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
A train strikes and kills a Southwest Missouri man overnight. Thanks for joining us. I'm Cale Chapman. Authorities say just before 10 p.m. last night, Rannon Childs of Sarcoxy went onto the railroad tracks west of businesses closer to the Fountain Road overpass north of Joplin. A Kansas City Southern train then struck Childs. He was pronounced dead on the scene. Nobody on the train was hurt. Earlier this morning, reports of a single vehicle crash near State Route NN and Dutch Elm alerted Newton County Central Dispatch. The car was traveling east on Dutch Elm and left the roadway toward the left, striking a guardrail and then overturning. No one was injured. Joplin Special Road District tells us they will be replacing the guardrail in the coming days, but for now use caution through the area. The guardrail will be marked for caution in the future. Our KOAM and parent company, Morgan Murphy Media, are giving new journalists the opportunity for a year of in-depth training, giving them experience in many different aspects of the newsroom. We are now introducing you to the first group to participate in the program. KOAM's Dow Quick has more.
Jalen Banks is used to taking center stage.
I loved my time here at Southern, being out on the field, just being with my teammates and playing the game that so many people love. Yeah. Good, man? Yeah, man, I'm good.
The former quarterback for Missouri Southern traded his shoulder pads for a suit and tie and a spot on the KOAM news team.
So those are the story ideas that I've got for today. You guys can chime in. Being a team in the newsroom, oh man, to do what we do on a daily basis and seeing how everybody has to work together to put it into a newscast is really cool to see. So now that we've finished,
Jalen's part of the J365 program at KOAM, a team of young journalists who joined an extensive training program to build their reporting skills.
Whether it's my writing, whether it's my reporting, whether it's my anchoring, it's something that I've really had to continue to hone in and work at. There's a lot of tongue twisters in some of these scripts.
Stepping behind the news desk is part of the learning curve.
Get it all out, and I'm like, let's go. Our audience has seen such a great product for so long, and they expect it to continue to be that way. So it motivates individuals like myself to, pursue that level of professionalism and that standard, because the standard's been set so high by the people that's been there for so long. I got super lucky. Just a beautiful, beautiful little girl.
Jalen's motivation today is fueled by his 6-year-old daughter.
Yeah, the things you do for your children. Like, I never thought that I would dress up as a cat for Halloween, but yet I did.
As kids tend to do, Ella brought along some life lessons for the young father.
More than anything, it taught me how to be selfless. Someone to, look after, someone to, live for, essentially.
Ella lives in LaGrange, Illinois, with her mother. Jalen says frequent trips home keep their relationship close.
Having this career, even though I'd love to be closer, but eventually I'd love to be able to see her on a daily basis. But yeah, it's hard.
For now, Jalen continues to hone his journalistic skills in front of a lot of people. Kind of like his time on the football field, with one significant difference.
I don't think that there's too much of a difference other than the fact that I'm not being tackled by a 6'4", 255-pound defensive end.
You can find out more information about the program on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Make fun art, not fine art. That's the motto of Happy Snappy Art and Paint Party's Kids Winter Art Camp. The camp kicked off today in Fort Scott, Kansas. Parents paid a $25 reservation fee and paid the remaining $100 balance on the first day of camp. It provides kids a chance to compete and take home 5 different paintings.
Just like you get to relax and express your feeling. Like if you're mad, it's a lot different. If you're tired, it's a lot different. If you're excited, it's a lot different. But yeah, it just like this, I was calm-ish.
The camp is at 702 South National in Fort Scott and will run until 4 p.m. on December 30th. Now with our winter weather, meteorologist Sam Lane.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we've been in the throes of winter with the snow and the cold air. Radar right now is all clear. That's good news. But temperatures are going to be dropping down into the teens tonight, 16 at 10 o'clock, 15 by midnight, and all the way down to 10 degrees by tomorrow morning. Let's take a look down the lane, and you can see we're going to have a chilly and cold Tuesday up on store, and then windy Wednesday with a warmer week ahead, and also maybe some showers just in time for New Year's. I'll have all the details on that coming straight up.
Well, this Christmas, while snow was falling up north, iguanas were falling in Florida. Footage from Miami-Dade County shows a stunned iguana laying motionless in the road. Wildlife experts say once temperatures drop below 40 degrees, iguanas, they become immobile and often fall out of trees. Residents are warned not to take frozen iguanas into their homes. The reptiles could get defensive when they become unstunned. This weekend's massive winter storm claiming the lives of dozens of people across the U.S. At least 27 of those deaths were in western New York, one of the areas that was hit the hardest. Officials say those numbers will likely increase as folks clean up one of the worst storms in the region. Fox News correspondent Alexis McAdams has this story.
The death toll from last week's once-in-a-generation winter storm expected to climb.
This blizzard is the one for the ages. Certainly it is the blizzard of the century.
Western New York, one of the hardest hit areas. No stranger to snow, but Greater Buffalo was paralyzed by this blizzard, blanketing that city in sheets of snow, knocking out power to thousands of homes and businesses and killing dozens of people. Their bodies discovered in their cars, inside homes, and even buried in snowbanks.
It is painful to find members of your community that are deceased.
Emergency workers have already conducted hundreds of rescues, officials closing major highways and putting a driving ban in place to create safe passage for search and recovery teams, plows, utility crews, and first responders.
The driving ban is in place not to inconvenience you. It's to help us get through this as quickly as possible, to open up communities so that we can get in and do what we need to do so that we can open up as fast as possible.
The storm, which began hitting the area on Friday, brought heavy wind and lake-effect snow. Officials calling it the worst blizzard in more than 4 decades. And as folks try to dig out, they're dealing with a lingering Arctic freeze. Some have been without power since Friday.
The most important thing is, please stay at home for the next day.
And it's not over yet. More snow is expected to fall on parts of western New York through Tuesday. In New York, I'm Alexis McAdams, Fox News.
KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14 takes this time to honor another four-state hero. Virgil Glenn served in the U.S. Marine Corps in 1945 and 1946. With roots in Greenfield, Missouri and Pittsburgh, he served on the USS Tucson in the Pacific. We're proud to salute Virgil Glenn, a four-state hero. And coming up, doctors say the current weather conditions might be hard on your lungs. Learn their tips for healthy lungs in the cold up next. The holidays can be the most wonderful time of the year, but for some, the winter season has a negative effect. Seasonal affective disorder impacts millions of Americans, leading to symptoms of depression. Bradley Blackburn reports.
Every morning in the fall and winter, McGann Feldman starts the day with a cup of coffee and one very bright light.
I just have it kind of at the side while I'm having my breakfast, reading the paper.
Feldman says she first experienced symptoms of depression more than 30 years ago, serious enough to require hospitalization. Her doctors later realized some of her symptoms were connected to the changing seasons.
It was a surprise. I'd never heard of seasonal affective disorder.
Our bodies, really depend upon light from the sun or sunlight to regulate our circadian rhythms.
Dr. Dorothy Sitt is a psychiatrist with Northwestern University. She studies how light therapy can help treat seasonal affective disorder and other forms of depression.
More recent studies have shown that it can be very helpful for treating non-seasonal major depression. It can be used on its own or in combination with some antidepressant medicine.
According to a recent American Psychiatric Association poll, nearly 40% of Americans say their mood declines in winter, and a quarter report feeling depressed. Patients with seasonal affective disorder can feel fatigued or less motivated, and they may not be able to enjoy their normal activities.
That treatment makes a big difference for you.
It's fair to say it's almost life or death to me because I know where I have been without it in the winter.
In addition to light therapy, Feldman takes antidepressants with higher doses from October through May.
There are tools out there that can help people be happy, lead a normal life, and not feel alone.
She wants others to know the winter blues are real, but help is out there.
Doctors say light therapy can help people feel improvements within 2 to 3 days of regular use, and a full response is seen within 3 weeks. Current cold weather conditions could be causing issues with your lungs. Doctors at the Mayo Clinic say that cold, dry air hitting much of the U.S. could be causing a condition called bronchospasm, a tightening of the chest, or a sensation like shortness of breath. People who suffer from chronic lung conditions such as COPD could feel these symptoms worsening in extreme cold. Doctors say don't be outside too much in such situations if possible, having extra inhalers and even backup medical breathing equipment. A new study shows harmful effects of smoking beyond respiratory and cardiovascular problems. Scientists at Ohio State University say smokers could be putting themselves at risk for cognitive decline. The findings come from a 2019 data survey of more than 136,000 recent or former smokers. Participants did their own self-assessment of cognitive decline. Smokers in the 45 to 59 age range were more likely to experience memory loss and confusion. Researchers think that the longer the time smoking between quitting and continuing, the less the risks are for cognitive decline. The way you cook your potatoes might decrease or increase your chances for getting type 2 diabetes. A new study from the Diabetes Care Journal found that fried or mashed potatoes, usually made with butter, oil, and cream, present a higher risk rather than boiled ones. The study consisted of 54,000 participants, all of whom self-reported their diets. Previous research has shown a link between diabetes and potato intake. Now new findings showing that it's really how you prepare the potatoes and what you prepare them with that is significant. Sam is next with a complete look at the forecast. And later, after Christmas, many Americans are looking to return unwanted gifts and take advantage of post-holiday sales.
Well, it was another cold one out there for states with a little bit of light snow late last night and early this morning. And it's still snowing in some parts of our area. We'll show you that in just a moment. Right now, though, it is not snowing in Seneca, Missouri at the Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Just a little bit of snowpack on the ground, but cold, though, across our area. In fact, let's take a look at Storm Tracker radar. Radar's not really picking it up right now, but there is some light snow that is occurring in Benton County in Arkansas, also near Branson. And believe it or not, it's also snowing down in northeast Alabama and North Georgia in the deep south tonight. Winter weather advisories out for them. Over the last 36 hours, it's been cold, of course, with temperatures in the single digits and then rising up into the lower 30s. And then this afternoon, we've been diving down into the 20s, and now we're down into the teens, and that's going to continue through the overnight hours. Our high was 35, our low is actually the current temperature, and we were, of course, nowhere near the normals of 45 and 27. But last year on this date, we were actually 75 degrees. Wouldn't that be a nice change? All right, let's take a look at the temperatures right now. We're looking at 9 degrees in Iola for one of the coolest readings, also in Neodesha. A little bit warmer in Pittsburgh, where they're 12. 13 in Nevada, a little bit warmer down to the south in Anderson, where they're currently 20 degrees. Now, about 24 hours ago, we were a lot warmer because we are actually running about 15 to 20 degrees colder now than we were last night at this time. So we're kind of heading in the wrong direction, but that's going to be short change as we're going to see some changes over the next 24 hours. Right now it feels like 4 in Fort Scott, feels like 10 in Lamar, as well as Anderson and in Jay. Right now here at the station it's calm wind, you can see the flag there, and it's also calm in Joplin with 16 degrees, so as a result it feels like 16. Dew point is 8, and the pressure is currently rising. Rain chances, actually this would be snow chances, are going to be very low over the next few hours, and then it kind of goes down to nil. So at least we don't have any more snow to worry about. Instead, we're going to be dealing with the cold tonight with lows generally in the teens across the area. Wouldn't be surprised to see a single digits like around 9 or 8 in some of the outlying areas. But then tomorrow, south winds are going to return, and as a result, we're going to see highs in the mid to upper 30s, even some 40s showing up. It's like the beginning of a heat wave down in Oklahoma with readings in the lower 40s. Then as we go through Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, we'll see lows right around freezing across the area with south winds continuing. And then Wednesday afternoon, the wind machine is really going to get cranking with winds howling out of the south at around 30 miles per hour, maybe even higher, with highs in the low to mid 50s across our area with a few clouds. Then Wednesday night into Thursday morning, we'll see temperatures dropping off just a little bit, staying in the upper 40s to around 50 degrees as the moisture starts to increase. Here's a look at across the nation. You can see that cold air right over us tonight. That's going to be moving away and be replaced some mild air coming up from the south and west, just in time to meet up with the storm system diving into the Intermountain West that will finally pull into our area as we head into the weekend, and that's when our rain chances increase. All right, let's take a look at the next 7 days. 39 tomorrow, 55 on Wednesday with the wind, and then 64 on Thursday with a chance of showers late, and then showers on Saturday, but it'll mainly be to the east. Our best chance of rain, Cale, is going to be on Monday, and some of the storms could be strong or severe with a high of 57, and then if we extend it on out, a chance of showers on Wednesday as well with highs in the 40s.
Well, there you go. Yeah, it's looking to make up.
So we're going to have a little bit of winter, a little bit of spring, all mixed in.
That's just how the Fort States
That's
does
right.
it. All righty. Well, coming up, Netflix password shares may be in trouble as the company is looking to crack down on password sharing. Find out how many Americans are taking advantage of after Christmas deals. Even with the holiday over, plenty of Americans are hitting stores to return gifts or take advantage of sales. Fox News reporter Brea Douglas has more.
The Christmas gifts are all unwrapped. Now it's time for some of them to go back.
Just some shoes that my mother bought me.
You don't want them?
No, her sense of style is a little off these days.
There's no laces. I need laces.
As some purchases return to store shelves, others are flying off them with deals too good to pass up.
She walked out with a $250 plate set for 60 bucks. Like, yeah, not real. It's like Black Friday, but there's no crowds.
That's what we bought.
And it was a good bargain.
What was the bargain?
It's like 50% off.
It's been a very good start to what has been an amazing holiday season.
North Shore Mall manager Mark Whiting says most shoppers come the day after Christmas looking to put their presents to good use.
Today is a day kind of interesting where people come in with their gift cards first and foremost. That's where we really see the greatest impact.
I got sweatpants, a lip gloss, and candles.
What bargains are better, the Black Friday bargains or the day after Christmas?
I think the day after Christmas.
Most people usually tip waiters and waitresses, but should we leave tips for other servers? Some restaurants, coffee shops, and other eateries now ask if you want to leave a tip at checkout counters via touchscreens. But is it rude not to tip? One lifestyle and etiquette expert says no, and that's not a requirement. Leaving a tip for waiters is based on a lower salary, and counter workers are usually making standard salaries. Establishments that ask at the counter are likely trying to offer a perk to their employees and hoping that customers respond. Netflix wants to put an end to password sharing and has already started the process in some countries. The streaming platform says more than 100 million Netflix viewers watch content using passwords they borrowed from someone else. Netflix plans to crack down on password sharing starting next year and is hoping to bring in new subscribers. The company has been running tests in some Latin American countries where password sharing is common. And up next, we'll take a look at the world's largest gingerbread display in New York. A massive and very sweet village is on display. The world's largest gingerbread village can now be seen in New York City's Essex Market. The village features more than 750 houses with details like jelly bean roof tiles and candy cane decor. It took more than 4,000 pounds of icing to hold everything together. The creator of the gingerbread village has been building it for 25 years and adds to it every year. It will be on display for visitors until January 15th. After that, some very lucky fans will get to take pieces home with them. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports are coming your way. Coming up, we'll hear from Joplin students on kickstarting their careers with apprenticeships. Plus, another volume of the Twitter files has been released, and we'll take a look at them coming up. KOAM is always looking to hear from aspiring journalists, so we are continuing a program where we air stories shot, written, and edited by local students. This story comes from Joplin High School. One of the best ways to get a job out of high school is with an apprenticeship. Joplin Eagles television student reporter Alex Carson shows us how students are getting a foot in the door.
While the month of November might be best known for Thanksgiving and Veterans Day, it's also home to National Apprenticeship Week, and Joplin High School is celebrating with a very special guest. Joplin Mayor Doug Lawson visited Franklin Technology Center to sign the National Registered Youth Apprenticeship Proclamation and learn more about how the school is preparing students to enter the workforce.
Franklin Tech is an important part for Joplin and the surrounding communities. We need exactly what Franklin Tech produces.
Luke Smith is in FTC's Auto Tech program, but for a few hours a day, he's an apprentice at Blackford Auto. And he feels it's a nice way to get a foot in the door.
Apprenticeship is a really good way to get into the shop and actually get hands-on work, live work, not just everyday planned out jobs.
Michelle Blackford is the co-owner, and she feels that the mayor's visit will inspire more to follow in his footsteps.
I think anytime you have community leadership and leaders in the community that recognize programs like this that aren't your typical, funneling kids to a 4-year program, but it's a different opportunity that benefits kids and benefits the community and the workforce. I think anytime those kinds of things are given attention, it's a positive thing.
While in-school practice is helpful, she feels that real-world experience is best.
Hands-on experience in actual work circumstances really prepares them for when they go out, they graduate and they get out of school and they go to an actual job.
Along with Auto Tech, FTC also has apprenticeships in HVAC, auto collision, engineering, and early childhood. Reporting for Jet HD, this is Alex Carson.
And meteorologist Sam Lane joins us.
All right, thank you very much. We're looking at clear skies on radar right now, and that was not the case earlier this morning. We had a few flurries across our area. We're still having some flurries down in northwest Arkansas and Benton County. It's not really showing up on radar because it's very light right now. Temperatures are going to be falling through the teens into the single digits in some locations, but I think we'll bottom out at about 10 degrees in Joplin. Look down the lane. Here's what we can expect. A cold and chilly Tuesday, but we're going to have a warm and windy Wednesday, followed by a warmer week ahead and maybe some New Year showers. And I'll have all the details on that coming up in just a little bit.
Thank you, Sam. Well, another volume of Twitter files has dropped, this time focusing on how the social media giant allegedly rigged the COVID debate, with Elon Musk teasing that there's more where that came from. Fox News correspondent Isaiah Hosny has a story.
Today's newly released Twitter files focus on the pandemic and how the government tried to control the narrative. Writer David Zweig says the Trump White House came looking for help from the tech companies to combat misinformation about runs on grocery stores, but there were runs on grocery stores. Zweig also reveals Twitter monitored the Trump White House, sharing an email exchange where Twitter's former Deputy General Counsel Jim Baker asked why a tweet from then-President Trump telling people not to be afraid of COVID was not violating their COVID misinformation policy. Twitter's former head of trust and safety, Yoel Roth, replied that the tweet was simply an optimistic statement. Once the Biden administration came in, Zweig says one of their first meeting requests with Twitter executives was on COVID. The focus was on anti-vaxxer accounts.
We have an interdisciplinary group at Twitter.
Zweig says Twitter's head of U.S. public policy even noted the Biden team was very angry that Twitter had not been more aggressive in deplatforming multiple accounts. They wanted Twitter to do more. The Biden White House has sent mixed messages on how involved it was in stamping out COVID disinformation, first admitting
we are in regular touch with these social media platforms, and those engagements typically happen through members of our senior staff, but also members of our COVID-19 team.
But then insisting
we were not involved. I can say that. We were not involved.
Zweig says Twitter executives didn't always do the administration's bidding, but Twitter did suppress views, many from doctors and scientific experts, that conflicted with the official positions of the White House. And we did reach out to the White House for a response to these new Twitter files. And by the way, these new COVID files come after a Christmas Eve dump that revealed the FBI and CIA have been meddling in content moderation for years. In Washington, I'm Aisha Hasni, Fox News.
Russia is claiming to have fended off a Ukrainian operation within its own borders. Fox News correspondent Nate Foy is in Kyiv with the latest.
In an early morning strike, Russia says it shot down a Ukrainian drone approaching a Russian airbase, hundreds of miles past the border. Russia says 3 servicemen were killed by drone debris at the airbase that houses nuclear-capable strategic bombers used in airstrikes on Ukraine. The incident raises questions about the capability of Russia's air defenses if a Ukrainian drone can travel that far. Meanwhile, Russian President Vladimir Putin says Moscow is open to a new round of talks to end the war. But with Russian missile attacks continuing to hit Ukraine on a regular basis, a peace agreement seems unlikely. In Ukraine's east, the governor of the Luhansk region says the Russian occupiers did not prepare residents for winter, leaving them to fend for themselves to stave off the bitter cold.
Trees have almost disappeared in the cities because local residents use firewood to heat their homes. It is now deadly and dangerous to go into forests because everything there is mined.
In a Christmas Day address, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky thanked his countrymen for keeping up the fight.
There are only a few days left this year. We must be aware that our enemy will try to make this time dark and difficult for us. I know the darkness will not prevent us from leading the occupiers to their new defeats.
There are growing fears of retaliatory airstrikes in Ukraine after the Russian airbase was targeted this morning. Reporting in Kyiv, Ukraine, I'm Nate Foy, Fox News.
A bit later, flight delays and cancellations are coming following the holidays.
More travel troubles for those trying to make it home after the holidays. I'm Charles Watson at the Atlanta airport. Details coming up.
I hope you had a safe holiday weekend across the area. It's been cold, but of course, that's typical for December, but we do have some warmer weather on the way, and we'll take a look at that in a moment. Right now in Seneca, Missouri at the Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, pretty cold night down there too, with a little bit of snow still on the ground, as well as across most of the area. Speaking of snow on the ground, it's already snowing in northern Alabama and northern Georgia tonight with travelers advisories and winter weather advisories. Very unusual for them to see snow that far in the deep south. But here in our area, we have a few flurries in northwestern Arkansas and around Branson, and that is about it. Temperatures over the last 36 hours have been, of course, very cold. We did get up above freezing briefly, but then we've been on the downward slide ever since with temperatures in the teens right now. High today was 35. We're down into the teens right now, so that's the new low. Of course, that wasn't anywhere near the normals of 45 and 27. And just think about it. A year ago tonight, we were setting a record high of 75 degrees. Not tonight. We're going to see lows in the single digits. So they're already down to 9 in Iola, 9 also in Neodesha, 18 in Neosho, and 21 over in Grove. In fact, we're about 10 to 15 degrees colder tonight than we were 24 hours ago. So we're kind of going in the opposite direction we'd want to see. And especially with these feel-like temperatures, it feels like 4 in Fort Scott, 7 in Nevada and Stockton. It feels like 12 down in Grove and 14 in Nowata. Right now here at the station, it's calm with the flag basically right up against the flagpole. It's also calm in Joplin. 16 is what it feels like as well, and the dew point is 8 with the pressure currently rising. Precipitation chances are not that great. We're just going to see those few flurries down in northwestern Arkansas over the next hour or two. Then we're going to see our chances of precipitation basically dwindle away, but they will increase once again as we head towards the weekend. So tonight we're going to see lows in the teens, maybe a few single digits out there as well with southerly winds. And then tomorrow we are going to see temperatures rising into the mid-30s, even some 40s down to the south in Oklahoma. Then as we go through Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, we're going to see lows generally right around freezing across our area, so the south winds will help. Then as we go through the day on Wednesday, the winds are really going to pick up out of the south, gusting over to 30 miles per hour but temperatures should make it into the 50s pretty much everywhere. And then as we go into Wednesday night into Thursday morning, we'll see lows generally in the upper 40s to right around 50 degrees because of the increased moisture in our area. So here's the cold air that's coming in tonight. That will start to pull off towards the east, and in its place, we're going to have milder air coming in from the south and west ahead of this next storm system, which will start to affect our area Thursday night into Friday, and then maybe some more showers on Saturday. In fact, here's your 7-day forecast. 39 tomorrow, 55 on Wednesday, and then 64 on Thursday with those showers mainly to the east, as well as on Saturday. I think we're going to have to wait till Monday to start seeing some decent rain chances, and some of those storms could be strong to severe on Monday, and then remaining warm through the early part of the year. So how about that?
Well, there you go. It looks
You'll
like
take it?
Yeah, New Year's going to come
right.
in with a roar, maybe.
No problem.
Heck yeah. Alrighty, well, coming up in sports, we take a closer look at the PSU women's offensive success. Plus, the Chiefs' defense holds the Seahawks to 10 points on Saturday. Danny Terzer has more details next.
The 9th-ranked Missouri Southern Lions are 4-1 in conference play this year and sitting at 4th place in the standings. Through 12 total games, Lacey Stokes is averaging 16.8 points per game, good for 4th best in the MIAA, and she dominates the conference in assists with 75 on the year. Maddie Stokes leads the conference in blocks with 2.4 per game. She also ranks 4th in rebounds. Pittsburgh State is also at the top of the leaderboard in a few categories. PSU ranks 1st in the MIAA in team rebounds and free throw percentage. The girls have also been really good from distance as a team. Tristan Gegg is averaging a conference best 3.5 three-pointers per game. She adds 16.5 total points per game. Corinna Gerber is another weapon. She's 3rd in the MIAA in field goal percentage. The Kansas City Chiefs beat the Seahawks 24-10 on Christmas Eve to secure their 5th straight season with at least 12 wins. The Chiefs are currently 12-3 with 2 regular season games to go. The Kansas City defense was a big factor in the win on Saturday. Seattle entered the game with the 7th best scoring offense in the NFL, and Kansas City held them to just 2 of 14 on 3rd down. In the second half, the Chiefs picked up 2 big 4th down stops, and Juan Thornhill came up with an interception to help put the game away.
We're on a mission here in Kansas City, and the goal is to finish the season strong. Last few weeks we, haven't been getting the job done as far as just finishing strong. So it was pretty dope to get out there today and finish the game, pretty strong. Gino been playing some great football all year, Pro Bowler type of guy, so we knew the task coming in, to have to put that flame out. Great receiver in 14, of course, on the other side. I feel like our young DB, they did a hell of a job holding DK and, holding that side of the ball down. So, hats off to those guys.
The Los Angeles Rams won this weekend as well. They were led by a dominant performance from Oklahoma alum Baker Mayfield. Mayfield was 24 of 28 for 230 yards and 2 touchdowns. His completion rate was the 2nd highest of his career, and he set the Rams' single-game completion percentage record.
He's been great, and I just think he sees the field really well. For such a fiery competitor, he's got a nice even-keeled demeanor in between series where he's able to, he sees things really well. He's able to have great communication, and today things were really fluid and smooth, and, to not have to punt at all against an outfit like that was a big-time accomplishment for Baker in the offense.
That's a look at sports. We'll be right back.
Folks traveling for the holiday weekend are still feeling the impact of last week's once-in-a-generation storm. While flight delays and cancellations are still increasing, there's a potential new problem for travelers. Fox News correspondent Charles Watson has more in Atlanta.
The busy holiday weekend likely feels even busier if you are one of the millions of Americans flying home post-Christmas.
Cancel, delayed, cancel.
The massive winter storm that swept across the U.S. ahead of Christmas to blame for the widespread travel troubles, and many flights still aren't cleared for takeoff Monday, with more than 1,000 delayed and at least 1,000 more canceled, and even more expected.
Just waiting. hoping for the best.
Long lines formed in jam-packed terminals as people tried to rebook, but making alternative flight arrangements during one of the busiest post-pandemic travel periods has been difficult, because airlines were already fully booked due to the holiday season and the volume of passengers trying to reschedule.
Southwest website crashed. The ticket agents, their system crashed while we were at the airport, and then we couldn't get any reception at the actual airport. It was just complete chaos.
And if long delays in ACT's flights are not frustrating enough, some passengers are now dealing with lost luggage.
Our stuff is somewhere in this mess.
Hundreds of bags that need to be returned stacked up in baggage claims over the weekend, which may only get worse with more flights arriving throughout the day.
They did a terrible job at figuring out where people's bags that were canceled are going.
Some good news, flight tracking site FlightAware is showing flight delays and cancellations tapering off in the coming days. At Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport, Charles Watson, Fox News.
Coming up, how one community came together to give a homeless man a special Christmas miracle. For the first time in several years, a homeless man in Norwalk, Connecticut has food and warm shelter this holiday season. And it's all thanks to complete strangers from his community who felt inspired to give. Shosh Bedrosian has the story.
For anyone that drives on Connecticut Avenue, you'll likely recognize the rattling of a push cart and the vibrant person behind it.
So is this every day for you?
Yes, it's every day pretty much.
The last 5 years, his livelihood is collecting bottles.
My name is Paris. I'm homeless, I just don't have a home. It's all right.
If you meet Paris, he'll likely share the gratitude he has for the ones that help him out.
It's all right to have what I have, and it comes from people that care to give me just a bottle.
But this Christmas,
it all started with a post from our friend Amy Stackhouse.
A stranger's request to get him a sleeping bag and basic products turned into something more.
25, 25, 25. But all total, it's been about probably $2,200 in donations.
There's been an outpouring amount of support from the community as to how they can help, and this Christmas turned into gift cards, warm food, and even a place for him to stay.
2 nights turned into 3, and 3 turned into 6, and now we have 9 nights for Paris at a warm hotel.
It'll be his first warm Christmas since 2015.
I'm so overwhelmed. When you're weak, don't make you weak, female or male. You're weak because it's real. You have the realistic and you have the non-realistics. And this is realistic right now.
Instead of just a few bottles this year, the community is giving Paris miracles he's dreamed of.
A Christmas miracle to me is love. Love, me being embraced. When they say unbelievable, it's real.
That's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. We'll leave you with a video of shelter pups receiving Christmas toys in Florida. Be safe out there, and we'll do this all again tomorrow.